Hey guys, I'd like to get this review done really quickly because I'm going camping and, well, I don't want you guys to have to wait until after I'm done camping to watch this. So, without any further ado, here's Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Let's go.
Hurry, hurry, hurry. Hey, look, this game came with the no time to play game. As with the second game, the intro is not plot exposition. It's merely an attempt to make you believe that the game is badass. With Chamber, they are being accurate. With this game, well, there we go. I filled my Let's Find Out quota. The story is... Wait, I didn't explain it in Chamber of Secrets, therefore I am not obligated to do so here. That's one part done already. Just know that they really didn't go into enough detail at the climax and seem to rush the story.
But I guess I can't talk, back to the review.
I remember when I was younger, getting this game, all excited to finally play this iteration. I also remember never finishing it, and trading it in. Lucky it was only $5 used at GameStop. So yeah, this game starts off on the Hogwarts Express, so I guess there isn't much of an intro to this game. You know, this game seems to be eerily corresponding to my current reviewing situation. Cinematics nowadays are becoming the norm in big titles such as Call of Duty and Uncharted, but you know, there were more of those scenes in the previous generation than we gave the Xbox, PS2, and GameCube credit for, and this opening is a perfect example. There's this dark, hooded thing, and Harry is passed out and Ron has to slowly drag him to safety. And, you know, this sequence could have been boring, and it is just move backwards at the speed of a tectonic plate and shake the analog stick wildly when told to do so. But the flickering lights, the sound, it all came together to make this 1-minute sequence quite good. And I have no idea why I'm mentioning this, but I felt like it. Wasting time. Harry's not alone in this adventure because this time he needs his friends. Now you can switch between Harry, Ron, and Hermione. And I have to admit, I'm not sure if this was such a good idea. And you probably think this was a negative, but no, I'm saying sometimes this works, and sometimes it can be annoying, or pointless, or both. While I'm glad that Ron and Hermione are no longer useless people that can't do for themselves, and therefore must haul Harry's butt out of bed every night, quite often I feel as though the ability to play as Ron and Hermione was quite pointless. They each get their own specific spells, and you're probably thinking, alright, no need to switch the spells as much in the spell menu. Whoopee! Well, not so much, because one of the spell buttons, i.e. the circle button, is used to switch characters, leaving you with only 2 spell buttons. So you'll still be going to the pause menu a lot, especially with Hermione. And it's really annoying that only Harry can jump and climb, only Ron can find secret passages, and only Hermione can crawl through spaces when clearly Harry has shown that he can do it. Overall, it makes for a few great puzzles, but it has a price. A big price. Graphically, it's great, and a huge step from the first titles. Better resolution, better lighting, better movement, better looking overall. The voice acting has also been improved again, and now all 3 of the main cast sound like their movie counterparts, somewhat. And since they're the people you listen to the most, the mixed bag of the supporting cast isn't a big deal. The controls are mostly identical to the first and second games. The only differences I noticed being the circle button switching characters, and a call your friends button which only works half the time. And maybe it's just me, but the movement controls with the analog stick feel kinda wonky. I noticed I overshoot beans a lot, move more than I mean to. It's nitpicking, but it's something I felt like pointing out anyways. Music's actually really good, but maybe it's just me, but this particular track kinda sounds like it be played at a romantic restaurant rather than a spell challenge. I mean, listen. Okay, enough of that. In terms of spells, well, Flipendo returns, but you can't charge it, oddly enough. There's also Expelliarmus, which deflects projectiles again, even though even the movies at this point realize that Expelliarmus is a friggin' disarming spell. Then we come to the character-specific spells.
Got it! The Glacier Spellbook!
EA Games.
Challenge everything.
Harry has Carpe Retractor, which pulls objects over, making for a couple good puzzles. He also has Expecto Patronum. It's used to fight off Dementors, although I find it annoying that I actually have to control the actual spell after casting it. Can't it just home in on the nearest Dementor? Ron gets Lumos, and only Lumos. Yeah, that's pretty lame. Anyway, Lumos isn't the flashlight spell it used to be. Its only real use is to kill Hinky Pucks and light up a crystal ball. A crystal ball, as in this technique is only used once! Hermione has the rest of the spells, which is pretty fitting considering she's the smartest of the group. She has Reparo, which obviously repairs stuff, Glacius, which freezes stuff, and Dragon Emperors, which turns small innocent statues into
fire-breathing dragons of flaming death.
Seems safe to teach teenagers. The problem with this spell is that it has a range of, I'm actually in too much of a hurry to come up with an accurate yet witty analogy, so just know that you need to be right up against the statue because the spell doesn't go very far. There's also another spell you can buy, but I never bothered with it. I guess it's just like in the second game, where you can buy Alhamora, but you don't need it at all. In terms of puzzles, you'd think with 3 players they'd be out of this world, but most of the great ones are where you're on your own, usually with Hermione. But, however, I would say that in terms of puzzles, Prisoner of Azkaban provides the best in the series, because they would oftentimes stump me, but I was never stuck for more than 10 minutes or so. Unfortunately, the puzzles are one of the only things the game does right. Yet again, you can't skip cutscenes. As we get less and less cutscenes, it's less of a problem, but why do developers persist in doing this? Luckily, the House Point Totals cutscene has actually been really streamlined, taking half the time to give us the same info from the first 2 games. Now, I've been nice and ambiguous throughout this review, but it's time to really give my opinion on this game. Here we go! If I could use one word to describe this game, it would be boring! Seriously, puzzles aside, almost all the gameplay in this game is so dull and unimaginative. Prime example, the enemies suck! That's not saying the first 2 games had top-tier opposition. In fact, those enemies were pretty lame as well. Difference here is that in the first 2 games, you had limited encounters with these guys. You threw a couple imps into cages, and that was about it. In this game, you have to sometimes fight off legions with your very weak flipendo. This is so monotonous and, what's the word? Oh yeah, boring! Next, stealth. It makes the first game look good, and it's that bad. I have 2 main gripes. First, you are usually not avoiding prefects, but these suits of armor that act like friggin' security cameras. They are so boring. And then when you are dodging prefects, the camera likes to go back to the first game's bad camera setup. And now, if you're seen, you're done. No chance to run for the door. You get seen, you're done. EA, why did you ruin the great stealth system of Chamber of Secrets? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Or, rather, if it ain't broke, don't break it! Now let's discuss the bosses. To be simple, they just blow! To call them generic is an insult to generic bosses, because almost all the bosses amount to the already annoying enemies that just have long health bars now. Usually it's some book or piece, and they are entirely pointless. There's one okay fire stove boss, but otherwise, bad.
So, I've been critically beating the tar out of this game, and so you probably think I hate it. And you would be right. Well, at least half the time. But it's not terrible, and here's why.
Like I said, the puzzles are awesome, and unlike the first 2 games, I have found myself stumped at times, but not so much that I need to head over to GameFAQs. There's no Quidditch, but there are some fun Buckbeak missions, and the controls are pretty good. The game isn't dark like the first game, but this may have been because of me adjusting the brightness on my TV. Dang, why didn't I do that years ago? Even if some areas of Hogwarts like to be blocked off, the grounds are huge and fun to explore, even if their only purpose is to put potion ingredients in. There are some really good replayability options in this game. You can get challenges from friend George, although I will take Chamber of Secrets any day in terms of stuff to find around Hogwarts. Despite my hating the stealth, there is a really good section with some trolls, and distracting them with dung bombs, even if the troll AI is utterly terrible. I mean, look at this. I'm running into the guy, and he's just like, duh, Vincent wants smelly things.
So, I have to admit, when I was nearing the end of this game, I was excited. For those of you who don't know, I'm not going to spoil anything, but let's just say Harry and Hermione had to bypass a whole ton of people, and if they were seen, big trouble. And I was really looking forward to how they were going to do this in the game. And you're not going to believe what they did. They did absolutely nothing. They skipped over it. I mean, all they had was like a crappy boss fight, and that was it. And I was mad.
To conclude, some fun puzzles aren't enough to make this otherwise lame, monotonous, half-assed game worth buying. It can't even really be called average, even with a couple fun moments. Graphically it's good, the puzzles are Zelda quality, the stealth sections with the troll were fun, and that's it. This game is about an hour longer than the first 2 games, but it's not worth it. Don't buy it, don't bother with it unless you're an avid Harry Potter collector. I'm not sure if there's people who really enjoy this game, but if there are, I'm certainly not one of them. I'll give it a 4 out of 10.
Well, I'm off camping. See ya for my next review of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. And no, I'm not getting off the case because I'm on vacation. Bye.